Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is today I'm going to be talking about KNDY, Kandi Technologies Group Incorporations, another Chinese EV. What I'm going to go through here is briefly technical analysis to give you an insight towards the psychology of traders currently in the market, and then I'm going to go towards anything I could find about this company from previous quarter earnings. I'm going to go back to the last two quarters, presentations, their operations, their vehicles, their products, etc., 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 and how they operate. Let's jump right into it. So on a 1 week perspective, I'm using here TradingView because Questrade has failed me with their platform right now. On the weekends they do maintenance and whatnot, but let's jump right into it here and we get to see on a 1 week perspective. I have a little bit limited technical indicators, but it tells the same story. RSI here looks like it's somewhere around neutral, coming in from overbought around this region. You get to see this one has seen multiple spikes. Was quite interesting. So I do expect perhaps if it's going to follow the same trend, another pullback, another spike, another pullback, another spike, and it looks like that is the trend on a 1 week basis. Now we can take a quick look into the 1 day, but before we do so, taking a quick look into the moving averages and whatnot. The moving averages here, we get to see that the 100 SMA and the 200 SMA are touching. Now we're not talking about 200 SMA and 200 SMA. A lot of you have never seen 100 SMA, but basically the idea of this one here is a bigger SMA is below a smaller SMA, and that's a bullish sign. That's kind of the psychology behind it. But what it looks like here is that it is a bit going on towards bullish on 100 SMA, 200 SMA. 50 SMA is a little bit further up here, and looks like it has crossed over, so that's why you're getting another run as well, or at least it usually predicts another run, and it did that already. Now on the 1 day perspective, right over here, 1 day perspective, what we're getting to see is that it's actually jumping up a little bit on the RSI. That is positive. Now it had a long entry around here. Moving averages do look bullish. It's above the trading action zone in that kind of scenario. 30 EMA here is not available, but gonna work with it. Now moving averages do look bullish, and the RSI, it's a little bit rough. Tried to go on with it, but you can get to see a little bit of a divergence over there, so that is good. Now we can jump on towards institutional buyers first. On the 13th of November, what we get to see here is a bit more well, it's a mixed sentiment. Morgan Stanley, for instance, added 7 times to their portfolio. Go down a little, we can see a lot of calls and puts, etc. Well, mainly calls rather than puts. Goldman Sachs decreased their position by 100%, but quantitative investments added 60,000 shares. Wolverine and HRT increased their shares, but Bank of America added 4.66% off their shares, or additional shares. Alpine added, Sculptor added 50,000, so that's 60,000 between there. Jefferies Group 30,000, JP Morgan Chase and Co 42,000. So it's a little bit mixed in terms of November. It's I can't say why some of them have like pulled out, but a lot of these things is that, you know, they buy it at a lower price. Sometimes they play around with their position if they don't like what they're seeing in terms of price action. This one here looks like it's up and down, right? It's kind of that movement, and maybe they just want to cash out and go for something that is more off a growth value. So you can't just judge on it, but it looks like inflow is higher than outflow, and that is always a good sign. Now insider buyers, nothing significant here. I mean, awards and etc. A sale over here, purchase over here, but that was more of a year ago, so nothing really is significant when it comes towards that perspective. Now they also announced an opening for registering direct placement of $60 million of common stock shares and warrants, but that is a little bit of common things to do, and this is already closed, so it's more of a direct offering per se. There you go. It was the entry for it, and the closing closed around. Did it close? It closed around the 12th, so perfect. Now moving on, same kind of PR or same kind of document here, referring to the same news. Now comes towards their earnings, right? So the earnings here, you're looking at cash and cash equivalent of 24 million compared to 5.5 million. To total current assets is around 184 million compared to 195 million. A little bit off, a drop there, but if we compare it from last quarter, June 30th, 181.4 to 183, a little bit of an increase. Although cash here has increased significantly from June 30th towards September 30th. Okay, but the total assets remains very much on the same level. Now, moving on, total liabilities 123 million compared to last quarter. We're looking into 105 or 106, so it's a little bit increase in terms of assets. I like to go quarter per quarter rather than year over year, even though they also prefer year over year and for some senses, such as seasonal purchases or different market trends that go on month per month. Going on now towards revenues. Revenues is very important for this one here right now. 18.7 compared to 27 million, and this is why I want to compare it to last quarter, 19.4. So revenues has decreased. Not a bad sign, for instance. It's just that, you know, we're in a pandemic and sometimes money can be tight, at least for the market that this one has been going. It's not a luxury instance, and I'll show you the products in a little. Now, next thing here is the gross profit. We're looking at 4 million compared to 5.3 last quarter. We're looking at 3.5 here last quarter. Sorry, year over year is 5. Last quarter is 3.5, so we're adding around $400,000. I believe this is in USD dollars. Yes, it doesn't say anything about RMBs. Now, net loss, we're looking at 2.4 million. Last year, it had a profit of 316,000. Your net loss coming in from last quarter, you're looking at an income of around 11.6. So they hit a loss this quarter. Their net loss income last year, year over year, was 12.1 million. Right now, it's 1.5 million. Last quarter, we're looking down all the way to the net loss was around 4 million. It doesn't look good for this quarter, so their total EPS is negative 0.03, or 0.03 negative as a net loss, and 0.23 was the year over year. Last quarter was 0.08. It's going in the wrong direction. So that is definitely something that needs to be addressed, and I'm surprised it didn't tank as much compared to this news. But there's always a chance, right? You're always giving it another chance. So let's take a quick look into their highlights. Their current highlights is in September, established China Battery Exchange Technology Company, a whole-owned subsidiary for its battery swapping services. Let me zoom in here quickly, just for y'all out there with glasses like myself. We sometimes can tend to be blind. On August 18th, KNDY America held a successful virtual launch event to introduce K23 and K27 EVs in the US market. That's a big news there, the US market interest, and I'll go into another SEC filings regarding this one. In August, delivered its fully automatic intelligent battery exchange system to its rideshare operators in Hainan. In July, the affiliate company Sheng Automotive launched sales of the Maple 30X, its first pure electric SUV. Sheng Automotive Maple 60V all-electric multi-purpose vehicle was approved for purchase subsidiary by China Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. Other things going on towards different company acquirings, etc. I'm going to go through that in a second. Now, financial highlights. Let's see if there's anything that they talk. Okay, so our progress despite the COVID challenge. Okay, anything important that we're trying to look for here basically justifies their massive loss compared to their income? No, but let's read it quickly. Net loss was 1.5 million or 0.05 per fully diluted share. The company to net income of 12.1 million or 0.23 last year. Nothing significant there, so we're just going to move on, and it doesn't tell us anything new. They basically also participated in the Benchmark Annual Discovery 1-on-1 Conference. Cool. They also processed the list battery swap subsidiary to Shanghai Stock Exchange Star Board. It seems that there is a little bit of a trend here that some of these companies, at least the ones based in China, they seem to have more of a web structure, that they're not one single company, they're more of a lot of subsidiaries underneath them, etc. KNDY announced the establishment of rideshare company. There we go once again. KNDY enters strategic cooperation agreement with Zhejiang State Grid Electrical Vehicles Service Company. Another example of it. So if you were to kind of create a KNDY kind of operations, it would be more of a really split down diagram, etc. Shelf offering, that's normal. Here is one thing that really is interesting for me. September 24th. It is entitled A Conversation with Chinese EV leader Kandi on their their entry into the US market. Kai will elaborate on the country's newly introduced EVs and how it intends to build its marketing and distribution network in the States. In August, KNDY hosted a virtual launch event that kicked off its US market initiative with the theme of Auto Evolution for All. So they're interested in going to the US market, participated in ISA Asia Inside Forum, cool. Nothing in there. Explores possibility of establishing explores possibility of establishing electrical vehicle manufacturing facility in North America. Two things: they want to enter the American market and they want to produce here in North America. So that's why it's also seeing a little bit of a jump. EV market in the US is a little bit behind of China's, but it's expanding. It's ever so expanding. Now, I did try to go on and go towards English, and it says the site is under construction, so we're going to go with Google Translate here. And so please bear with me because some of the translations are really horrible. I'll show you that in a minute. There we go. We're going to go to English. Alright, so this is their SUV model. I believe it goes down to $9,000, something like that. I'll go into terms of their presentation in a second. Just before the presentation, I wanted to show you how their website actually looks like. They also have around 306 kilometers in terms of range, and God, the site is very small. And some of the actual horrible translation I was talking about, wonderful appreciation, is what they're talking about for the images. It's kind of a cute, kind of lost in translation. But this is their website. They have different vehicles like Maple 30X. I'm not sure if they say it's Maple, for all I say something else. KNDY K23, which is more of a golf cart, reminds me of Solo enclosed vehicle. I think they're Mini Cooper, let's say, K27. And they have as well other products. So if we go to all models, they have as well beach buggies, dune buggies, and what I would imagine is in-city 4x4 buggy. Yeah, pretty sure those ones you can't really drive on sand with the wheels. All right, presentation, cool. Let's jump right into it. Let's hope make this video a little bit shorter than usual. Pioneer in electrical vehicle, nearly 2 decades of success, founded on bases in China, near Hangzhou. Products span the value of chains of EV sales in China and the US with 4 different locations. Alright. Launch event for a pre-sale of K23 and K27 models in the US. That's a massive thing. US National Highway Traffic approves K23 and K27 imports in 2019. All cool. So they do have basically a movement towards selling in the US and they're ready for it. Their estimated forecast for 2020 is around 4,000 units to be sold all around the world, around 40% annual growth from 2017 to 2022. China market dominated by entry-level vehicles, and KNDY specializes in entry-level vehicles. And we're looking in terms of kind of vehicles we're looking at is K23, K27. Those ones are approved already. The Maple 30X, if it gets approved, and probably it would, it probably will be something massive. Now, it's not sold right by it, but it's sold by affiliate company Fengxing. Right? So this one is more of a golf cart kind of feel, slash neighborhood watch kind of vehicles, you know? Vehicle that they have on the K27, it's costs around $9,999. It really reminds me of the Fiat. If you remember how the Fiats really looked like at the start, they were really massive at some point, at least here where I live. In their position as urban short trip runabout, in terms of their kilometers, of course they're going to be a little bit less. Their mile range is around 100 miles. It's an estimate. So I hope that estimate is accurate. You don't want it to be 10 miles. I'm like, well, it's just an estimate. But no, it's around 100 miles. 168 miles for the model that costs double. They both look like a golf cart enclosed, but this one looks like a bit more off 4-seater Fiat. 188 estimated mileage. Now comes on towards their virtual launch event that happened in August 18th with tens of thousands of viewers, probably just shareholders. Half of them are that. Over 700 of pre-sale deposits, and delivering starts Q4 2020. So that's massive. But right now going on, well, we are in Q4, so you might be getting bit more PR related to that, and that might get a bit more buzz. So the US launch, the buzz is real going on towards all these companies here. I don't see... Okay, the Dallas Morning News, Business Insider, sure. Buzz is real. I'm not sure about that. CNET. Okay, so just random buzz. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like the Wall Street Journal. Introduced in the first half of 2020 was the Maple 30. It follows the Maple 60V, recently announced. Produced by affiliate Fengxing. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And invented by KNDY in 2009 for the battery swap systems that is supposed to be fully automated one-click battery swap in 90 seconds. Now, awards winning and fun and sold in China and the US for basically go-karts. Now, different things including their acquisitions of, for instance, 22% of Fengxing. So they don't own it 100%, they own it 22%. So the sales of Maple 30X is not directly linked to KNDY, but 1/5, or let's say almost 1/4 of that, between 1/4 and 1/5, 1/4.5 of that goes to them. And then we're looking into other different companies in terms of rideshare alliances. So there is that when you think about it. So I think that covers in all the presentations, the 4 locations I was talking about. Fengxing Auto, the KNDY electrical vehicle, oh my god, I'm having a massive problem pronouncing these. Screw Electric, Beijing KNDY vehicles. Okay, but I think the Fengxing one is only around 22% ownership for KNDY. A little bit sneaky there. Alright, so I think this kind of covers it. What do I think about this one? That's a little bit of a rough situation. It's going to probably see a bit of pullbacks here and there. As you can get to see on a 1 week perspective, the movement that it achieved was ups and downs, and you get to see it's a little bit choppy. Do expect another pullback here. I wouldn't buy it at this level. Probably buy somewhere around the support. So the current support that's probably sitting at is 710. Below there, we're looking at 614, 587, below 587, 542, 540, 499, 499. We're looking at 461, 461. We're going down all the way to $4. Current resistance is looking down, up at 746, 746 to 778, 778 to 794, and then we jump up to almost $9. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to drop a like if you did so, share if you did like this video. If you don't, then maybe yourself, I'm just kidding. Subscribe and leave your notifications on. If you have any comments, please make sure you mention down in the comments below. Have a good day.